Hello and welcome to the Little Drops of Wonderful podcast. This is my place on YouTube to talk about all things crochet and knitting and crafty related, all of the really good stuff in life and sometimes books and other waffle as well. I'm calling this my Christmas episode because even though I've positioned the camera in a really stupid way, I am sat next to the Christmas tree. Should we move it a bit so you can see it throughout? There we go, you can see the Christmas tree now. Okay, so now it's officially the Christmas special because I've done that, even though the camera's now a bit wonky. I've also got a Christmas cushion. I've got an advent project from a couple of years ago, and obviously got a Christmas monkey because you can't get more festive than that. So I'm going to try and keep this relatively shortish. I'm not very good at doing that, I know, because there's so many vlogmases going on. I myself am doing vlogmas over on my other channel, my vlogging channel, which is This Little Wonderful Life, if you want to hop on over and see me opening my yarn advents every day and doing festive things. And there are so many brilliant vlogmases going on, so I'm sure you've got plenty to watch. And what with that and all of the brilliant terrible Christmas films and the Christmas telly that's on and everything that goes on at this time of year, I'm sure you've got other things to be doing. So I'll try to keep it short. I just wanted to say a huge thank you to everyone for your reaction to my last video that I did all about advent patterns. It was so lovely to see how much people enjoyed that. So many people said they got some inspiration from it, and I just did it just really last minute because I'd had so many patterns I was getting excited about and I just really wanted to share them. So thank you so much. I'm so glad that you enjoyed it. Oh, and I forgot to say, you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Starry Eyes Ali, and I've already mentioned my other channel where I am This Little Wonderful Life. Also, due to life and everything that's been happening, we've had visitors over the weekend. It's been so busy, been running around doing exciting festive things. I will mention one of those things a bit later on. And we've had snow, which of course in England just brings everything to a halt and causes all kinds of havoc. So we had both kids home yesterday. Phoebe was homeschooling. So everything's just been thrown. And because of that, I have no notes, no show notes whatsoever. So everything that's about to happen is me totally, well, 96% winging it. I have done a slight amount of preparation just so I know what order to do things in, and I've drawn a winner because I have to announce another winner in the Strictly Sockalong. Other than that, I'm just making it up as I go along. What could possibly go wrong? So shall we get started straight away with finished objects? And this is something that you've never seen before. It wasn't even in the works the last time I spoke to you in the last episode. So he's going to be a bit of a surprise. So every year on my kids' birthdays, they choose something that I make for them. And usually it's an amigurumi. And Phoebe had used the book by Kerry Lord, Edward's Crochet Imaginarium. I think that's that was my foot, by the way, if you heard that. Well, it has to be because I don't have a bow, so I can't make any bottom noises. Where are we going with this podcast already? Oh my goodness. So there's a book, which I don't have with me, of course, because I'm not organised enough, but it's by Kerry Lord. It's called Edward's Crochet Imaginarium, and it's a flip book, and you're able to flip through it and make your own monsters, essentially. You can choose the head and any horns or ears. You can choose the type of body. You can choose the type of legs, tail, arms, that kind of thing. So she'd put together her own monster, and she wanted it to be giant, and you can alter the size by altering the yarn, basically. So I made her one, and I made it in about just over a week. So it was pretty full on, and it was pretty hard on the hands, and here he is. So she even chose the colours. She wanted yellow and white, and she wanted a fluffy tummy. So I'll just take you through how I made him. She's called him Wilfred, by the way. And I've sewn the eyes in the way that it shows you how to do it in the book. Normally I would put safety eyes on, but I'm really pleased I did it this way because I think it just gives him a little bit of personality. And as you can see, the tummy is super soft. And I used this on its own for the tummy, and I held it double with some white cotton for the horns because I wanted the horns to have a bit more structure. And on his tail, I did the same. I held cotton with the that yarn double. And in case you're interested, because I was quite keen to use what I already had, and I like to make my amigurumi with cotton, so I was using a load of cotton that I had held triple. I had 2 Aran weight and 1 DK weight, and I held them triple to get a bulky weight. But it wasn't working for this loop. It was too difficult holding yarns triple, and I was also holding some mohair to try and make it a bit fluffy, and it just wasn't working. It was too difficult, and it wasn't giving a nice finish. So I went to Hobbycraft, just jumped in the car, dashed down to Hobbycraft, and I bought some James C. Brett Flutterby Chunky. It is 100% super soft polyester, and it really is super soft. I have a real issue with certain fabrics, like I can't touch certain things. It just makes me feel creepy. Like case in point being something like microfiber. Do you know, like the microfiber cloths? I can't touch them. But this is just like butter. It's so soft, and it was so nice to work with. I'm so pleased I got it to use. The rest of the yarn is just from my stash of cotton, so it'll probably be a combination of Drops I Love You and Drops Paris and Drops, what's the other one I'm thinking of? Can't remember. Yeah, so there's his feet. And if you're wondering, and I get asked about this quite a bit, there's his tail, how his head is staying up and not flopping forward. It's actually a bit posable. It's because I use armature wire. I use quite a thick armature wire that you would use for clay sculpture. It's very, very moldable. It's very soft metal. I make a little spiral for the top, and I insert it, and I absolutely cover it and tie on the stuffing, and I make sure it sits just near the top of the head. And then when I come to do the neck, I keep it quite long, and I crochet the neck and the body around it, and then I cut it, because you can just cut it with scissors, make another little spiral so it sits kind of flat, so there's going to be no sharp bits. And again, I just tie and wrap round all the stuffing, and then I bury it within there, so it sort of sits almost at his bottom to the top of his head, the armature wire, and it just means that his head doesn't become floppy, and that's how I do it. So that is Wilfred, Phoebe's fabulous new friend for her birthday, and my first finished object. So anything else to say about it? Oh yes, I used DK weight plus Aran and a 5mm hook. So it gives a really, really close fabric, which means the stuffing stays inside. It gives it a lot of good structure, but it is really hard on the hands because a 5mm hook for that sort of weight of yarn is quite small. But that's how I like to work my amigurumi, and no pain, no gain. It's worth it for me because I love how it turns out. And I will link everything in the show notes underneath, as I always do. So I will link that book so that you can go and find it if you want to. Also, if I'm talking a bit funny, it's because I've completely lost the hearing in my right ear. I've got an appointment coming through with the audiology department at the hospital. They think I might have a blocked tube. Can't remember the name of it, but yeah, can't hear at all in my right ear, much to the hilarity of everyone in my house when I'm constantly going, what was that? Or mishearing things with hilarious consequences. I digress. My next finished object that I have finished is a cross stitch project. So if you saw my last episode, and I'm going to talk a bit about cross stitch later on, you'll have seen that I had got the bug for cross stitch after I did a class on Skillshare, and I had a mini little kit that I'd had for ages, so I got started on it, and I just found it so addictive that I finished it. Well, I've kind of finished it. I need to finish it off in the hoop, but I bought the hoop so I could frame it, if you like, in there. I've washed it. I didn't iron it. So there is a little crease, so I might take it out and just give it a bit of an iron. And then I need to put all the back in together, maybe put a bit of felt on the back to sort of, I need to watch another video about how to do that. And I've lost, I don't know where my little packet is, but I can tell you it was a little DMC kit that I got from eBay, and I will link below the one that I got so you can find it. It was really inexpensive and it was really dinky. It didn't come with anything other than, it came with the thread and the fabric, the Ada, and there's a little, it's coming out more on screen than it is in real life, but there's a little white bit because it was completely clean. And then before I washed it even, and then I was making cake for Phoebe's birthday and I got a bit of icing on it somehow. And I washed it and you can still kind of see it, but I don't mind. And there's so many mistakes as well. So if you see here where the bits poke out at the bottom rather than being a perfect square, that's because I made a mistake on one side, so I just kind of replicated it on the other. I've done all kinds of things wrong with this, but I enjoyed it so much, and I really liked how actually when you do things wrong, you can just kind of wing it. I definitely pulled my stitches too tight because I hadn't worked out that you're not supposed to, so I learnt a few bits from that. And I love it. So I'm going to finish it off and get that hung up so it's up over Christmas. And I got the bug. So I'll be talking about another cross stitch project a bit later, but that is my next finished object. Those are my only finished objects. I'm not going to talk about all of my works in progress, so please don't assume that the two things I'm about to talk about are the only works in progress I have, because I have 11 billion. But I have selected two to talk to you about. So I've been talking for some time about a dress that I have been making for Lilia. It's living in a fabulous bag, which is so big, it's perfect for big projects like this. I got this in a swap I did with Marta some time ago now. And the pattern I've been making, and you'll recognise this if you've been here before, is the Mystique. I often call it the Mystique dress, but it's actually the Mystique pattern because you can make it as a top or a dress. So this is the top version and it shows you 4 different ways you can wear it or finish it. But I'm making a dress version, which basically just means you do exactly the same thing, but this ruffle here, you just keep working it and that becomes the skirt. And the colours and the style of it were all inspired by a really lovely crocheter on Instagram called The Silver Knot. And my eldest daughter Lilia had seen this picture and she was like, oh, can you make it for me? So we managed to track down the pattern, and the pattern was really unusual. I've said before that the way it's written and the way you kind of get gauge and work out the measurements is like nothing I've ever done before, but the designer was super helpful when I got a bit stuck, and it's all really clever, and I've been really impressed with the pattern actually. And once I was underway, I've loved working on it, and actually it's a pretty simple thing once you get past the initial starting of it. So I've now pretty much, other than weaving in the ends and making adding a few rows to the bottom to get the length correct, I'm now pretty much finished. Every time I show this I put it on. So shall I do it? Yes. It's the best way to show it. Okay. So the progress that I have made, the progress that I have made on this is, I'm going to have to stand away, aren't I, from there's someone pulling up in the driveway opposite, and I'm now prancing about with a dress over my clothes. I'm going to have to move the camera so I can show this to you. That's a bit better, isn't it? Okay, so I hope she doesn't look up. That's all right. She's concentrating on not falling over on the ice. So it's quite low here, and it's actually looks really lovely with a little frilly shirt, a little V-neck frilly shirt underneath, which is how my daughter's going to wear it. So I've now done all of the edging, which is so tactile and lovely and frilly and pretty. So it goes all the way from here up, all the way up and down the straps, round here and down the other strap like that. And the straps you can wear in various ways, but I have now done the eyelets. I haven't actually put the eyelets into use yet, so this is a podcast exclusive. So there's an eyelet here. Have I crisscrossed them on the back? I don't know. Can you see? Okay, so now what you can do is you can tie it here in a bow, or you can come around the front and then come back round and tie it in a bow and create a little thing here and have it like that. There are loads of different ways that you can kind of construct it, and I've done these bits really long, so she's got plenty of room to have a really nice big bow at the back that will sort of dangle down, or if she wants to bring it around her waist. I've probably done it a bit too long, but there we go. And then just so you can see the length, the length is pretty good actually. I think she just wants another couple of rows. She's going to wear it short, obviously. She's 16, not 46. No, I'm 45. Does anyone else do that, where you get to a certain age and you're actually getting on so much that you can't actually remember how old you are? I was born in 1977. I'm 45. Got to position the camera again now. I think that's better. So yes, so this is the Mystique pattern by Hook Loops. It's been brilliant to work on and it's nearly finished. So hopefully I will be able, I won't be able to put a picture up. It won't be finished in time for me to put it on her and get a picture for this episode, but it should be finished in time for me to get a video of her wearing it and modelling it for my January episode, and it'll be finished. I really wish that I could have just got those final couple of rows done, but yeah, it was supposed to be for her birthday at the end of March, so she's definitely going to get it for Christmas, so that's good. I failed for her birthday, but I'll come through for Christmas. So the only other work in progress I wanted to talk about is living in one of my dodgy bags. I made this when I did one of my bag sewing tutorials. If you're interested, they're in a playlist of tutorials. I've got quite a few bag sewing tutorials on my channel, which is really funny because I'm not really, I'm not in no way an expert sewer. I just wanted to share how I do it because I can sew bags. They're not perfect, but if I can sew bags, then anybody can. So I've shared a few tutorials about how I do that. So in here is my second pair of Strictly socks for this year. I'll be talking about the Strictly Sockalong, but if you don't know, the Strictly Sockalong is a knit or crochet along that I run every year to coincide with Strictly Come Dancing. It's a really silly sock along because you don't actually have to watch Strictly Come Dancing, and lots of people come up with some really inventive and hilarious ways to cheat their way through it. And it's just all about having fun in winter and sparkly stuff and glamorous stuff and dancing and just silliness. And this second pair of socks that I'm making, because I have finished my first pair, got a little bit stuck because I decided to try some new techniques basically and change up my knitting a bit. I'm making this with a sock set for my friend Becky, who is back to Blighty. She is also doing Vlogmas. She doesn't dye yarn anymore, so I'm very lucky to have this. This is in her colourway from a few years ago called Fame. So it was a sock set of this and the bright pink. So first of all, I did a different cast on. I did Jenny's surprisingly stretchy cast on, which I've never done before, and it's like a series of slip knots. And I really like it. I really like how it looks, and I love how stretchy it is. Really, really lovely. And then I put my own, well, when I say my own pattern, I used a Stitch dictionary and to put a pattern in here, which took me a while to work out, but now that I have, I'm really pleased with it. And when it's all stretched out, it looks really cool. So I really like that. Then I decided I wanted to try a short row heel, which is something I don't generally do. So I had to faff about a bit trying to work that out. So this is a shadow wrap heel, and this is my fourth attempt at it because the first couple of times was just so not neat. I wasn't happy with it. So, and then when I ripped it back, I got confused and I dropped stitches and I had to go back, then I had to re-knit a whole load of rows. So I'm finally back on track and I have completed my shadow wrap hill, and it was Denise at Earth Tones Girl who got me through the shadow wrap hill and taught me how to do it. So she's got some fabulous sock knitting tutorials. I would highly recommend you go and check out her channel. She's got the No Fear sock knitting series of classes basically, and she's got me through my first shadow wrap hill, so I'm really pleased with that. And now I'm back to working in the round. But yeah, it has been very much stalled by me making a mess of it. So will these be finished by the end of the year? And for the Strictly Sockalong, I don't know. Hopefully. And that's the only other work in progress I'm going to share today because, like I say, trying to keep it short. Shall we talk? Oh, I should mention as well, I've been working on a hat for my friend, and I'm sure you'll be wondering what's happening with that. I've just got to do the decreases, so I'll hopefully be able to get a picture of that before I give it to her, but I've been way too slow given how cold it is here at the moment. There's snow on the ground. I'm really annoyed with myself that I haven't given that to her yet, but she will get it. And a lot of people have been asking about my husband Dan's hat, so he wanted to learn to knit and he's been knitting a hat, and again he's at the point of doing the decreases, so we've just been desperately trying to find a bit of time to sit down together for an hour to do that. But you know what it's like this time of year, and with everything going on at school and college with the kids and visiting family and everything like that, we just haven't found that time. But I'm sure over Christmas, in that period between Christmas and New Year, we definitely will. And hopefully I'll be able to bring Dan onto the podcast in January and he can show you his first finished knitted object. Keep bugging me though, if I don't say anything. Keep harassing me. Okay, shall we talk about Skillshare? So this video is very kindly sponsored by Skillshare, and I have been using that as an opportunity to learn a whole load of new crafty skills that I can share with you that I think you would find interesting. And it has been a really interesting process actually, and I've had such good positive response to the things I've been learning. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes covering a vast range of subjects. It's such a creative place and I find it so useful and inspiring, and I'm constantly going down different rabbit holes trying to learn new crafty techniques or skills or just a new craft altogether. So you've heard me speak a lot about the classes I've done before. I've done doodling, needlepoint, photography, cartography, which I said last time was probably my favourite to date, but it might have been overtaken slightly by my most recent one, which has been cross stitch. Cooking, baking, videography, drawing. I'll list all the classes that I've done underneath so you can see the ones that I've been exploring. And as part of the sponsorship that I'm doing with them, I get a special link which is in the description box underneath, and the first 1,000 people to use that link will get a whole free month of Skillshare, and you can learn a lot in a month, believe me. So it's a really good time of year to do it because you know, we've got holiday season coming up where we have more time at home, a little bit more time to work on the things that we enjoy. So it's a really good time to do a free trial. So make sure you go and check that out, and always, of course, read the terms and conditions. Make sure you know what to do if you do want to cancel. And that link is underneath. And I'm going to talk a bit more about the craft that I've been doing for the last couple of times. Normally I talk about a new video that I've been working on, but I've been sticking with the craft that I learnt last time, which is cross stitch. And the class that I did was cross stitch fundamentals with Dana Batho of Peacock and Fig. And she went through how to start the stitches, how to secure the threads, how to make a stitch. And there was even a design that you could work across with her. But I chose to use the what she was teaching for how to cross stitch and make the little house. And I've just become addicted, so much so that I've actually asked for Christmas, when Dan said, what would you like? I've asked for a cross stitch kit, and it's a really exciting one, so I will show you that after Christmas once it's arrived. But I also went on eBay again and I thought, oh, I'll get myself another little kit. So I did. And it is this one. As it transpires, she's also got an Etsy shop, so I can link her Etsy shop underneath. She is The World in Stitches, who is Colleen, lovely Colleen, and this is the kit that I bought myself. It is the Christmas mandala kit, and I was drawn to it because I love mandalas. I just love how they look, and also I just loved the colours. I like how it's Christmassy but not overly Christmassy. I love how bright and cheerful it is. So that's her Christmas mandala kit, and she's got a few Christmassy ones, and you can choose to get it with the hoop or without the hoop. And I actually chose to get it without the hoop, but then I had to go and order hoops, so that was silly. I should have just got it with the hoop. And I'm away, and I'm probably doing it all wrong. I was saying to my sister, I'm probably doing it all in the wrong order. I'm definitely dragging thread across the back when I shouldn't be dragging thread across the back, and breaking all kinds of rules that I don't even know exist because I'm new to it, and this is where I am so far. So I've done the middle bit, and I've done a tree, and then I was just using up thread to do other bits, and and this little thing here is my needle minder that my friend Hilary sent to me. I never thought I'd get the opportunity to properly use, but I'm using. I'm so excited to use things like that I've got in my crafting stash now, and I'm just really enjoying it. It's quite a quick thing to do, so it's quite satisfying. You can kind of see it building quite fast, and I think that's why I enjoy it. And also you really have to count, and you have to look where you are. And my mind is very busy, and I get very overwhelmed very easily, and this forces me to focus only on that, which is a very enjoyable thing. And I can do it and listen to an audiobook as well. Not so good at doing it and watching telly, but I'm really enjoying the process of it. I'm really enjoying learning about it. I'm making all kinds of mistakes again, but just loving it. Really enjoying it. So that is my current cross stitch project. So thank you, Skillshare, for introducing me to a whole new craft. As I said last time, it's the last thing I needed was a new craft in my life, but I am very happy to be doing it. And don't forget to check out the link underneath and go and get your free trial. Treat yourself to a bit of crafty delight. Okay, incoming things. I am so underprepared for this, so I just grabbed a load of stuff, so I hope I haven't missed anything. But the things I have grabbed are amazing. So first of all, I had in the post a little Christmas gift from my very dear friend Charlotte. So Charlotte and I met when I was pregnant with Lilia. Lilia is now almost 17, and I was very unwell. I had ulcerative colitis. I was extremely unwell with it, and this was before like the internet as it is now and WhatsApp and things like that. And she was pregnant with her second child, and she was also very unwell, and she had seen me post on the Baby World website. I don't even know if that still exists anymore, and had contacted the owners of the website to see if they would send me an email on her behalf so that we could get in touch with each other privately, which they did. And that was it. That was, we met, we exchanged many emails, and eventually we both started blogging, and we followed each other, and eventually we met, and then we met a few more times. We've spent a few holidays together. I've been very lucky to go up and spend time with her in a very special place a bit further north from here with her and her children, and we just have a really special friendship that's very important to me in my life. And she knows how she's the only person really that knows what I went through with my illness and my operations and everything around it, what that does to you mentally as well as physically. She is the only person in the world that I have in my life really that fully 100% understands that. She's a very important person to me. Anyway, she sent me a little Christmas gift, and she has recently got into crochet, and in particular she loves making amigurumi, and she knows that I have a lifelong love of Alice in Wonderland, and she made this up. She used a basis of a pattern and made the rest up, and she made me Alice. That was a really long story to tell you about my Alice amigurumi, but it just goes to show how special this is. So look at that, look at her hair and a little headband. And her little shoes. So this is my Alice from my Charlotte. And she's responsible for quite a lot of the lovely Alice prints that I have in my house hanging up, and yeah. She sent me this little video the other day on WhatsApp, and it was she was just doing a little video of her Christmas decorations, and she kept stopping and saying, oh, this is from you, oh, this is from you, oh, that you made me that. And it was lovely because my house is like that too. There's all things all over my house that are from Charlotte. On my tree as well, there's lots of decorations on my tree from her. And speaking of lovely friends, I had another lovely parcel from my friend Rachel, who you will know as So Raimi. And she saw that during Vlogtober I searched in vain for the fly agaric mushroom, which normally I do find every year, but I didn't find it this year. So she sent me a parcel and she said, I heard there was a shortage. And she sent me a couple of little mushrooms, little decorative mushrooms, which I put through in the kitchen. She has knitted me a mushroom as well, which is the cutest thing. And I've kept it just to one side so I could show it on the podcast, but I'm going to hang it on the tree, and then when we put the decorations down, perfect, there we go, just there. When we put the decorations down, I can keep the mushroom out because mushrooms aren't just for Christmas. But she also sent me, because she sells all kinds of journaling and scrapbooking stuff in her shop, or Linko shop underneath. And she sent me a load of mushroom ones, and they're adorable and I love them. So I've got like really sheer mushroom stickers like that. And then she makes these. It's just so cute. Makes me feel all inspired for doing collage and scrapbooking and things. There's just so many of these little things. Autumn blessings. And there's loads of them. I'm not going to show you every single one. And she put them all in this adorable little envelope. Just lovely. And there were some other little bits and tea and stuff in there as well. So thank you so much, Charlotte. That was so... whatever your name is, Rachel. And Charlotte. Thank you, Charlotte, for Alice. Thank you, Rachel, for my beautiful mushroom gift. That was so thoughtful of you. And then I had another amazing gift in the post. It was from Leslie. And she sent me a few bits, which was just so kind of her. But she sent me a cross stitch kit because she saw last time that I'd got into it. And she sent me a cross stitch kit from Cotton and Twine. And because we have backyard chickens, it's of course a chicken design. And it says, chick, 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 chicken, lay a little egg for me. Now, Dan immediately said there's a chick missing because it should be chick, 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 chicken. I was like, but yeah, that wouldn't fit and it wouldn't look as good, would it? So it's chick, 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 chicken. Lay a little egg for me. And these two little chickens, they look like our Peggy Sue. And then what you're supposed to do, so it came with a hoop and this lovely kind of almost like tea stain coloured Aida fabric. And I've got all the design and all the instructions, and then all the thread, and it's all organised. No, that was one of the things I really liked about the gorgeous pattern actually from The World in Stitches from Colleen, was that her threads were, that not only are they all colour coded and have symbols, but it's all like that on the card as well, where they're organised. And for a beginner like me, oh my goodness, that has kept me out of a lot of trouble. And it's the same on here. And it came with some fabric, because the way that this is finished, so I won't show you the fabric, I'll show you a picture. So you can see, she sent me the canvas and everything. So I've got a canvas like this, and then you've got some fabric and you make like a backing, and then you stick your finished cross stitch onto it and you have like a fully blown artwork. So I might do that, or I might keep it in the hoop. I'm not sure. I'll wait until I see what it looks like when it's done. I've marked the middle and everything, because I do like how cross stitch looks displayed in a hoop, but I also like this. So that was what a lovely surprise and what a nice thing to do. That was so kind of you. Thank you, Leslie. And I've had a few other bits as well, but I'll share those when we've got a bit more time in January. I've also had my advents. So I put together an advent for myself using some gifts from Suzanne at Green Lumpkin Yarns that she sent me last year, and some minis that I bought from her last year. I also bought her this year's advent calendar from Green Lumpkin Yarns, and I was sent as a gift the advent calendar from Bumblebee Acres Fibre Farm as well. So I haven't got them all with me, but what I'll try and do is, as I'm talking, put on the screen a little overlay of what the yarns so far look like, because the one I've got from Bumblebee Fibre Farm is Bridgerton themed, and it's just brilliant. I've loved it. And the one from Suzanne have all been tonal minis, which have been beautiful and such a change. And the theme has been merry music, so it's been really good. Some days I don't know what the line is, and then when I look it up, I realise of course I do. So it's been really, really good to sort of get to know songs again that we haven't heard in a while, or realise we've missed that particular line, or I just love yarn advents, they're so fun. So I thought I'd open my advents now in incoming, because that makes sense. But there is no, I'm filming this on the 13th, and there is no day 13 in the Bumblebee Acres one. I messaged them to ask if that's on purpose. They're a little bit, they're probably still asleep because it's midday. They're probably still in bed. They haven't replied. So I don't know if that's on purpose, that maybe there isn't a 13. Because unlucky number 13, I don't know. I will let you know if I hear. By the time I've edited this podcast, I'll put it on the screen. From last year's advent from Suzanne, so what happened was I cottoned on pretty late that she was doing it in instalments and only bought like 2 of them. So I only had like 6 minis. And Suzanne, after it was all over, sent me a load of spares that she had. So I put them all in a bag, rewrapped the ones that I'd already bought because I couldn't really remember them, and put them with the one she sent as a gift. This is one of the ones she sent as a gift to open this year. So that's what I'm doing. So this was Christmas Carol themed. And that is like one of my favourite books of all time. So what have we got? Oh, we've got a lovely snowflake stitch marker on her cards. There you go, there's Green Lumpkin Yarns. And the colour, oh, this is lovely. The Door Knocker, which is of course Scrooge's door knocker to his rooms. That's beautiful. Oh, lovely. And then this year's one from Suzanne at Green Lumpkin is merry music themed. I'm repeating myself. Oh, I've got some English breakfast tea. Perfect. Love a bit of English breakfast tea. I shall have that tomorrow morning. And the yarn is Among the Leaves So Green. Among the Leaves So Green. Well, here's the beautiful colour. Isn't that gorgeous? It's all sparkly as well. Now let's have a look. I think it's from Here We Come a Wassailing, which I'm not familiar with, but I think that's what it's from. So I'll be listening to that to see what it's like afterwards. So thank you for that, Suzanne. Another lovely advent. Okay, shall we move on to the Strictly Sockalong? Something very exciting happened last night. I'm going to put it up on the screen now.
Until New Year's Eve. From all of us here, thank you so much, Bromley. Take care. Merry Christmas. Good night. God bless.
Yes, that was Anton de Beck, judge on Strictly Come Dancing, in the same room as me. And yes, before you ask, I was wearing Strictly socks. I wore last year's Strictly socks. And yes, I did take a video. We went to the Panto last night in Bromley at the Churchill Theatre. Anton was in it. It was Jack and the Beanstalk, and at the end they said it was unusually, please feel free as we take our bow to take pictures and video and share it on social media and just give us a shout out, basically. So there you go. The Churchill Theatre in Bromley, ladies and gentlemen, are doing their Panto. I believe it's on until the 4th of January. So if you want to see Anton, he did a few dances. It was amazing. Right, my battery's running out. I just need to change that over. Excuse me. How long ago did those lights go out? I only just noticed when I was changing the battery, or did they go out whilst I was changing the battery? They go off after a certain amount of time. Anyway, I've turned them back on again. I wonder how many of you were shouting at me. The lights have gone out. It's behind you. Okay, so the first two winners I have managed to get in contact with. I was struggling a bit, but they both got in touch with me. I've got your addresses, so I will be sending your prizes out as soon as the strikes are over this week, and sending particular hugs out to Vonda, who has had a really difficult few weeks and was the reason I hadn't heard from her. So Vonda, I'm thinking of you and sending you lots and lots of hugs. And it's time to draw another winner. By the way, did I say I was talking about the Strictly Sockalong? Yes, I did, because I was talking about Anton. Yes, so it's time to draw another winner, because back in November, we had the Blackpool show, and there is a prize for everyone that has a finished object in the finished objects thread on Ravelry by the end of the Blackpool show. And as usual, I gave you an extra 24 hours because I'm so nice. So on Sunday, the 20th of November, there were 166 finished Strictly socks in the finished objects thread on Ravelry. I asked our friend Alexa to draw a random number this morning. She chose number 58, and that is this Ravelry name, which I'm not going to attempt to say on the screen. I don't know who you are. You've got no information about your name or where you are in the world, but you have won a prize. And I haven't got it here, so I'm going to go and get it in a minute. And they made the Winter's Frost socks by This Handmade Life using a German yarn from Apu Kunta. And she said, I'm assuming she, might not be a she, they said, she knit these sometimes whilst not watching Strictly and sometimes whilst watching Strictly, as the pattern and yarn made her needles dance. I really love that. And you have won some yarn from Blue Fern Yarns. It's beautiful. I'm going to go and get it. Woo. Right. Your one's actually all wrapped up. This is my one. But it's exactly the same. So I brought it down to show you. It's so beautiful. It's called Holly and Ivy. It's on her platinum sock base. It's so lovely. It's kind of vintage Christmas in my mind. Gorgeous. And that is Blue Fern Yarns. And I've popped it with this gorgeous bag, which was made by a lovely viewer of this podcast called Julie. And she sent a load of bags that she said I could use as prizes or whatever I wanted to do with. And they're so beautiful. So I'm going to send you this gorgeous penguin bag, because it could be Christmassy, could be not. You can use it all year. But on the inside, nobody needs to know that you're celebrating Christmas. Even if it's July, you can be using your penguin bag. So I will put your yarn inside the bag, and I'll get that wrapped up, and I'll send you a couple of pins as well. So if you could just get in touch with me on Ravelry or Instagram with your address, I'll get that sent out as soon as I can. There are still so many prizes to be won though, so it is not too late to join in. The Sockalong runs until the end of the year. In fact, it usually runs into the first week of January before I close all the threads and well, I don't really close the chatter thread, but I leave it running, and I don't really draw winners until the first or second week of January. So there's plenty of time to join in, and you can join in by posting finished objects in the finished objects thread. You can join in and be in with the chance to win a prize as well if you're just chatting in the chatter thread, or if you're using the hashtag on Instagram, which is on the screen now, or if you're cheating and you use the hashtag and tell me wherever you post Strictly Sockalong rules, how you're breaking the rules, you're in with a chance of winning for that as well. So make sure you can do all of those things or just one of those things. And I've still got loads of absolutely amazing and beautiful prizes to give out in the new year. So come and join in. You could even use your Christmas cast on if you're casting on socks on Christmas Eve. You can use those as your Strictly socks, double dip to your heart's content. And also, just as a reminder, that Becky Dixon Designs, if you use the code Strictly20, you'll get 20% off of her sock patterns until the 30th of December. So I will link her shop underneath. And yeah, keep your eyes peeled on this channel in January for all my videos, because that's when I'll be announcing a whole host of winners from the Strictly Sockalong. And thanks to everybody who has donated a prize or done a discount. It's been amazing as usual. It's part of what makes the Strictly Sockalong so special, is that I get such gorgeous donations of prizes. Thank you so much. It wouldn't be the same without you. And thank you to all of you for joining in. I'm still blown away that you do, and I love it. I love looking at your posts on Instagram and on Ravelry, and you're so creative with how funny and cheaty you are. And you make beautiful socks. Okay, patterns. Am I really racing through this? I feel like I'm, because I feel really lopsided because I can't hear in this ear and I'm in a hurry and I've been to the post office this morning posting over 60 orders because I closed my shop up ready for Christmas, so it's all closed now. And I said on my Vlogmas that I would put in one of my origami stars, and oh my goodness, the response to that was amazing. So that was, I was passing up orders at like 6:30 this morning, running to the post office. I broke the machine at the post office. I was like, oh, I need to film a podcast. Anyway, so now I feel like I'm just blethering like at 100, like top speed. So I hope it's not been too bad. Sorry if I'm a bit snotty as well. Anyway, we're nearly finished. We're nearly there. I just love to share any patterns that I've been given as gifts or that have caught my eye, and I've got 3 that I've been very lucky to be given as gifts over the last few weeks. So I wanted to share those. My neighbours just walked past and looked in the window and like kind of just gone, what are you doing? Anyway, this is what I do. This is what I do now. I've been doing this podcast for, what? I was just about to turn 40 when I started this podcast. And I think it was in September. So that would have been September 2016. Which means I've been doing it for 6 years. Wow. 6 years I've been doing this podcast. And now I've just gone off on a random tangent. Patterns that I have received and that are beautiful and that I would like to share with you. The lobster smocks. I'll put pictures up. I'll move this way. I'll put pictures up here. The lobster smocks, which is a kind of slipper sock by Alison Rendell. She is a Shetland born and bred and based knitter, and she has designed these wonderful smocks, which is a great word. That's fun to say. Smocks. And this was a gift from lovely Lynn. Thank you, Lynn. I will look forward to giving these a go at some point because they are so cute. And of course, lobsters. We love lobsters here. I was also given as a gift the Sliptastic socks by lovely Nancy Wheeler of Knit Sip Happy, who also has a podcast. And she gave me her latest sock design. And it's so pretty and lovely, and I think, yeah, they look like they could be within my capabilities, so I'm looking forward to giving those a go. Thank you so much, Nancy. And finally, I was given by my lovely friend the Rumple socks, which is by and from Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears. I've had my eye on these socks ever since she released them, because I have got the very yarn that she used, because she dyed it up and she dyed one for me and one for her. So I'm so excited to knit the Rumple socks in the yarn for which they were designed. And I love Once Upon a Time. They are named for Rumpelstiltskin in the Once Upon a Time series. And I've made Once Upon a Time inspired things before. I've made the Snow White beret thing that she wears. What's it called? I can't remember. My brain's not working today. I'll put a picture up because I've got a picture of it on my Ravelry. But it's a really lovely pattern. I'd love to make another one. We have reached the end, and finally the little bit where we just wrap everything up. So all that is left for me to say is thank you so much for watching. Thank you for watching this year in 2022 and for being with me throughout it. And if you're new and have just joined me lately, then thank you for joining me for the beginning of 2023. I hope you stick around, and thank you so much if you're watching Vlogmas. If you're not, do hop on over there. There's lots of yarny content there too, along with daily life, and I open my yarny advents every day, and it's a lot of fun and a bit silly, and I really enjoy doing that, and I'll do that up till Christmas Eve. And just thank you, thanks for watching, and I hope whatever you're celebrating at this time of year, whatever your holiday is, I hope you have a lovely time. Merry Christmas, a massive Happy New Year to all of you. And I will see you again very soon. Happy knitting, happy crocheting, happy lounging about, watching television and eating chocolates. And if you have to go to work, I'm very, very sorry that I just said that. See you again soon. Bye.